Hey guys, so I'm driving. I just dropped the girls off at school, and so things that are weird when a kid leaves your house. Um, it's weird to me that I don't have 3 kids. I gotten used to saying that I had 3 kids, and I got used to talking about my younger 2 girls as little 2. And so now it's like, when I go to say, like, I drop the girls off at school, it's usually I go to drop the little 2 off at school. But I don't have an older one anymore. So, yeah. So those are some things that are kind of weird about not having her. I hate that things happened the way that they happened. Like, and that I was in no control. But that's the system sometimes. So, yeah. Anyway, not to be a downer. I just needed to get out of the house. I've been struggling with like anxiety a little bit this week, and just not really wanting to do much. Personal care has not been high, which, fun fact for you guys, if you don't know, lack of initiative to do personal care is a sign of depression. So I struggle with like depression and anxiety. I have a diagnosis for it from the VA. But I've never been medicated for it, and I think part of it is because, one, I know what it is, what's causing what's happening, and so it allows me to be better equipped to handle what's going on, and to just kind of recognize that, you know, this is what's happening and I need to push back against this. Earlier this week, though, I did have a bit of like kind of a panicky moment, if you will, and it's really weird because I knew it was gonna happen when it did, and I say that because, so my in-laws had been here for a week to help us. They were gonna be here for the adoption, and then they were staying with the kids to help us go house hunting. So they stayed with the girls while we went on a trip. And anyway, so this week was the first time that we like really got back to normal. And it's been, so I knew that once I got back to the point where everything was as I was used to, you know, like that I was in my regular routine, that's when I would really start processing a lot of my feelings about what had occurred. And yeah, so that happened, and I was out at a Target that was kind of farther away from my house. I had gone out of the house trying to just get out, and well, I was avoiding. That's really what it is. I was just avoiding kind of being there and not wanting to deal with it. And I got in this Target that I wasn't familiar with, and I got turned around and I couldn't remember which way was the exit. And for some reason, this was really bothering me. Like, it was really giving me some trouble. I was feeling a little foggy. And had I not known what was going on, it probably would have scared me pretty bad. But I knew it was most likely just anxiety, and so I remained calm and just kept breathing and walked a little bit, and I got my bearings, and I figured out where I was. And I don't even think I bought anything in the Target. I can't remember. But I went out and I got in the car, and I just needed to cry. So I was trying to cry, but like I was in this like panic. It was very awkward. So I was just playing some Christian music and just, praying and trying to deal with all of this stuff, because it's a very weird thing. Your body doesn't process your emotions until you're ready to process them. So even though you may know that you need to deal with X, Y, or Z, your brain may not, like, your coping mechanism may not allow you to deal with that. So yeah. And these are the things that I try and teach my kids, and I tried to teach our previous adoptive child, just because I know that they're going to struggle with some of these things as well. And I strive to give them the skills to deal with these things, instead of trying to protect them from them. So, and it's hard for me because with this other child, she's still out there walking around, and I'm not there to explain to her what's happening. Now, rationally, I know what has happened for her is she has put her walls up, and she is burying all of the feelings that she's having, because that's how she's gonna survive what's going on. But eventually that's gonna catch up with her, and I'm hopeful that the skills that we tried to teach her will enable her to deal with what's happening. If you've never been alone, which, funny enough, I think I'm the exception to this, or that I'm pretty normal. It's just that I was always surrounded by family very close to me. So I grew up in a very loving and supportive environment with lots and lots of adults who were there to help me. And then I joined the Air Force, and I left, and I learned how to stand on my own and be very self-sufficient and strong. A lot of my guy friends, when I was in the Air Force, would tell you, like, I was a really strong woman because I didn't need anybody. There was no need for anything for me. Like, and so to everyone else, that's the way it looked, but I desperately, like, wanted someone else in my life. And when I met John, I didn't realize that slowly I was coming into this acceptance of having someone else into my life, and I was allowing him to influence me in a way that I hadn't allowed other people to do that, and it was gradual. Well, then John left for 7 months, and I was alone again. And when I say alone, I mean really alone. Mostly because, so I think the main friend that I had here was deployed while John was gone. I'm pretty sure Simi was deployed. I don't think Simi was here. And I had one other friend that I don't think they realized, like, I don't think they realized how alone I felt. And I isolated because it was easier. But, like, I had moments when he first left where, like, literally I would go to the grocery store, and I felt uncomfortable. That's the word. I felt uncomfortable spending money because I couldn't confirm with my husband about what to buy and how much to spend and stuff. And it was really weird for me. I was just like, what the hell? Like, what happened to me? I was perfectly fine before this person came into my life. Well, he was gone for 7 months, and then he comes back. And when he got back, I felt myself becoming softer and becoming weaker. And it was something that I was uncomfortable with. And I know for a fact that other, at least mill-to-mill couples experience this, because I have another friend who was telling me about this same thing later. And I feel so bad because I wasn't there to help her walk through this because I was dealing with my kids. But it was this, like, weakening, this feeling that you're becoming weak. And even though, yes, in some ways you are kind of stronger together if you're with the right person. Well, I think God did that for me so that I would understand what this child was feeling in our home. And that's a scary feeling. And when you don't have the basis and the wherewithal to recognize that that's what it is, your only feeling is to run, because you feel extremely vulnerable. And that's something that internally you have to get past. Not a lot of people are there. It depends on the person, but in general, like, you have to be willing to accept that this is how you're going to feel for a little while, and then you're going to feel better. And you also have to be willing to accept help with things that you may have experienced in the past that are going to come up in those times. And she just wasn't there. So, as much as we wanted her to, she started getting comfortable and letting those walls down, and it scared her. And as much as I know that that's what it was, the state of Arizona does not give me the ability to do a damn thing about it. And that's the truth. And it frustrates me. And the night that we were having to decide what was going to happen, I knew what the motives were behind what she was doing, and it bothered me that I had to accept the fact that she had to make a choice on her own, and that she wasn't going to listen. Anyway, I'm going to try and have this be the last video about this topic. I'm sorry, guys, I feel like I needed to get that out there, that, like, I mean, here, I'll show you the remnants of what happened to me. That is teeth marks. And this looks good. This is 2 weeks removed. It bruised really bad. I don't know if it's going to scar or not, but that is the level of crap that we were trying to deal with. And that was through a hoodie. I had a long sleeve shirt on, and that happened. Yeah. So when I'm telling you guys we did everything that we could, I mean it. Anyway, if you guys have any questions about foster care or the process of foster care or any of that stuff, please let me know. I will tell you wholeheartedly I would do this again. I don't know why things worked out this way. I have no idea what her purpose was in her life, but I would do it again. And I still think that it's worth it, and I still think that people need to be open to the idea of teenagers and taking in teenagers, and recognizing that sometimes, yeah, it's not going to work out, but sometimes it will. There are plenty of stories out there of teenagers who were adopted and it was successful. I'm being honest with you guys about our experience, just because that's kind of what I've always done. So yeah. Alright, guys. Feel free to subscribe, and please comment. If you don't know me, please comment. I would really love to know kind of what you guys are thinking, if you have any questions. Ask me anything. You can ask me anything about life. This whole channel is probably going to shift and transition into some kind of like vlogging channel, because I really enjoy putting it out there, and I also like having like memories to look back on, even though I haven't really filmed a lot of those. But we have some big things coming up, and yeah, so See you guys soon.